Hello, hello everyone. I am Tina B, and I'm so excited to have Beth Mompus, who is a lovely life coach, and I'm an intuitive communication coach. So we thought it would be juicy, yummy to dive in, go deep, and vulnerable, if you will, in a crucial conversation. Because I don't know about you, Beth and I have talked about this. We are easily, as the entrepreneurs that we are, business owners, we get into a doing energy. So at the core, we're going to discuss this question, and that is, do you get stuck in the doing energy? So, Beth, I'm so excited to have you and connect with you because you have a beautiful community on Facebook and you've been doing this work for a long time. So, yeah, just share a little bit with you were the one when I met you at a BE conference, which I think is so perfect that you said in a speech, and it has stuck with me since nearly a couple of years ago, that we're human beings, not human doers. So, talk a little bit to that concept. I would love, because that's foundationally what we're addressing today.
Yeah. It's just so easy to be busy, to be in the doing, to stay on the run. Currently, I am in a season of my life that I am playing pickleball. I am lifting weights. They say, like at women my age, like bone density, so important. So I'm like lifting weights. I am running from activity to activity, even though I'm a bit in a retirement season for my business. And what I realize is that I'm just staying running and busy. And it's like I'm still in the doing. So everywhere I go, there I'll be. Like even I've been a life coach for 15 years and I talk to my clients all the time about not being too busy and how to get still so I can hear my own intuition, so I can trust me. And yet I am my biggest client because I'm still wrestling with being on the run and in being in avoiding energy and just going. And so I think it's important that we kind of call ourselves out a bit. And who better to talk about this than another person who is a promoter, who is enthusiastic, I mean, you are joy and fun. And I think it'd be very easy. And so I'm asking, do you suffer from this too?
That's why I reached out to you. I thought, of all the people, I feel like we are very much in alignment with this ongoing struggle. And it is a struggle bus that I get on as a passenger quite often. And in fact, yesterday, I was just sharing this with you, Beth, earlier in our conversation. I decided my whole physical body was just heavy with fatigue. I've been sprinting on the go, like updating my brand, which is an energetic, like adding an E. So this is quite in alignment with what we're talking about. So Tina B, it's a beingness of how we communicate, lead, and show up in the world. And so I woke up yesterday heavy, and my normal self usually is up between 4 and 5 in the morning. And I do all the things, right? You meditate, breath work, journal, I soul journal, and I work out and all of that. And my body said, you need to just be horizontal here. There is a lot of strength and power in the stillness. It's as important as the movement. And so I did something I haven't done in years, if not ever. I stayed in bed till 7 o'clock in the morning and woke up, and it's still, my body's like, you're not ready to work out. Like, get your coffee, journal a little bit. And so I actually had to postpone a lot of meetings because I physically and emotionally could not be present for those people. And so I literally meditated for hours yesterday in a dark space with instrumental music. And I got so many yummy things where the word entrepreneur, enter the manure, in some ways it could be enter the poo, like you're like, because you feel like your mind is spinning, you got to go to the network, you got to hand out the business cards, you gotta. And I feel like specifically as women, to your point, we embrace the multitasking. Even if you're a stay-at-home mom, you feel like you have to efforting is a thing where I got to have my kids out for a lot of things. I got to look like I'm doing because I think at the core, it's about our worth. It's our worthiness and our being enough. And I've been doing inner work with a beautiful spiritual guide, and it's called Internal Family Systems. And literally, I had come up in my meditation a runner. Like I have a little girl runner that has a cool sweatband. She's wearing purple and she's running. What is she running from? What is she running for? And what I really sat with is she's running for more achievements. She's running towards perfectionism. She's running towards worth. She's running away from hurt or away from people and emotional attachments because you know what? You got to do more to prove that for your love. And so I think there's a lot to unpack there. And so I just kind of went blah, 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 blah. But it's because of that inner girl, that little girl that we have. We have a lot of parts within us that we were told something, we were given a look as a child, and immediately to feel safe, we attached meaning to what was said or done to us. So I don't know if you have thoughts on that and experiences with that as well.
And what comes up for me when you're sharing is that proving energy. We are having to prove ourselves. So we're going to run faster. We're going to show up prepared for meetings. We're going to have a really polished opening and it's all this proving. And when we can set that down and know that just by waking up today, we are enough for the meeting, for the presentation. You know, as an entrepreneur, and I have to giggle at your the manure statement.
I
It's
love
awesome.
words.
Yeah, it's I no longer say yes to anything that I really have to do a lot of preparation for. Like I'm really trying to, I'm approaching 60 years old. And so I am like, okay, I'm not in this proving where I have to create all this new material. I get to just show up and be me. And that is what people want. This
Mm.
summer, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I had someone that lives maybe 4 or 5 hours from me. She said, "I've been watching you on the socials, be on your boat and hanging with your family, being in the sun." And she said, I'm wondering if I can bring a couple friends and come get on your boat and do like a floating life coaching." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, talk about combining some of my favorite things." So she had a few friends in my area that she invited, and we came out and I kept saying, "Now, what are we going to talk about? Or how should I prepare?" And she's like, "No, just be you. Just be
Mm.
all over those people. Be inspired, be your inspiring self. You don't just show up like yourself." And I thought, how many
Ooh,
times have we
what a gift.
Yes. Yes. So getting out of proving energy, we are enough when we just woke up today. We are wise in just being ourselves. And that's why I think this is an important topic for people to talk about because I don't ever know, Tina, if you and I are like the weird unicorns or if
Yes.
I literally have to put on my daily to-do list, pray, meditate, sit, be kind of like the morning you had the other day.
Mhm.
And I don't have to put a bunch of tasks on my to-do list because I am driven to do those things. I want to do them. And I feel like sometimes the world is they have to make themselves get up off the couch. And so I am always in the undoing and the
Mhm.
unratcheting myself a little bit. So I
Well, I
don't know.
think you're hitting on something really valuable and important, and that's what I've been working on over the course of my inner work, and that's my nervous system. And I'm prone to anxiety, and I got to do more, and then I get tightened, and then overwhelmed, and then burnout, and then and so I found we have 2 ears and we have a full body. Our full body is what we need to, what my improviser teacher said we need to listen hard to. And listening hard is this concept in improv of top of intelligence, like blending the mind, the heart, the emotional, the relational, the contextual, environmental intelligences of the present moment. And so when we are in a doing space, we are ignoring how our body feels. Like yesterday was like profound for me. I gave myself permission to feel. I went through lots of trainings being told you're very performative, you're very disconnected. And it was a lot of coaching and inner work with therapy that I was like, oh, that's why I love theater so much. Similar to Carol Burnett, who was big into mugging, and I've read a lot of her stuff. That she's this gorgeous, beautiful, manifesting energy force of the comedic world because she did that inner work and realized that she chooses joy. I mean, she lost a daughter, and it was profoundly hard for her, and it was her daughter that taught her be present in the moment and choose that, create the experience. And that leads me to, my birthday. You said you were turning 60, and my 50th, another big pivotal birthday, is not too far around it's around the corner, right after Thanksgiving, the day after. And I realized even in my stillness yesterday and a conversation with a dear friend who's coming to visit that I was wanting to get up at 4 a.m., go till midnight, and do 50 things I love, turning 50, to prove that I am worth being born, that I'm worth celebrating, worth, enough, enough, enough. And she said something so great, and it's so simplistic. She goes, why don't you pick one thing you love that you want to do, and then we just kind of feel into the day? Because she's spot on. Like my nervous system's going to be on fire if I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to, okay, that we just did this. We blew bubbles. Now we need to create a haiku. Then we got to do Mad Libs. And then and so I'm picking roller skating. At the
I
core,
love
that's the
it.
one thing I'm going to do is roll my way, with the kiddos and wake up to no alarm. And
Wow.
that's big for me because I've been trusting. It's at the core, Beth. I think it's a trust thing, trusting ourselves and our souls and the space and the people and life. And that's why I think I've been doing so much is I didn't trust myself to know when to be still. So I had to keep moving to
Yes.
prove. It is a proving thing. It's a worth thing, a proving thing. It's a lack of trust and a lack
Yeah.
of love, frankly.
And in fact, I think I get to be called to do less planning. That's what I hear in your birthday, weekend, and less executive function of like multitasking. And, we were taught to do all those things. That's why I'm in the business now of undoing myself, less planning. Let it just, I love that you picked a core love of roller skating. Please throw it.
Forever.
Yeah, I love it. And how many times do we have a stacked agenda and just way too much planning instead of just trusting the moment, trusting ourselves, being present, you know?
It's this whole idea of expectation, right? And it's sort of last weekend, I had the opportunity to celebrate my birthday and see a dear theater friend from the University of Northern Iowa and see my spiritual coach, as well as go to the Magic Castle by myself. I got an invitation only from a magician who happened to be my former professor at UNI. And so I went and I had no idea what I was getting into. I was there from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. I was the last person to leave. I got to be in every single show. It was magnificent. And I had no idea. And I didn't go in there with, well, I have to get on stage. I have to have these things happen. This better happen. I think because I showed up with just a beingness that people saw the sparkle, saw the light. I didn't even raise my hand. And in every show, I got invited from different focal points of the room in different spaces and places to connect with magic and experience the magic. So to me, presence and beingness is magic. It's not a prescribed expectation or an equation, like MC squared or whatever, and I think of how can we how can we allow ourselves to break free of what the culture is telling us? Because I think that that's where we are told as children, young adults, and as we move forward, that do more, more. And I also was told in my downloads of meditation that treat everything like dessert. For a while when I was healing, I would eat my sad, my fears, my anger, and just get more ice cream or get more or more. And so yesterday, I really lit a candle and I used an actual cloth napkin that I got in Egypt on a trip years ago and created an experience for myself where I took a bite of half of a grape and I looked at it and I chewed it so slowly. I was like, oh my gosh, I've never experienced a grape like this. And I bedazzled myself. I'm like, this is my dessert, and treating everything that way, every moment as a dessert. How can I, when I do the books for my business, create a dessert-like experience? Well, I can put on some sweet Wilson Phillips music and hold on for one more day, and jam to it. So that I think it's experiencing delight. It's the pause. It's the pace with grace, rest and digest.
I love that. And I hear less rushing. I have spent so much of my life hurrying. I like to be quick pace. Like I'm not a slowish person, but that's my stretch is to like as we're heading into the holidays, slowing time down with family and not being about our agenda and about the rushing and about the doing. Maybe have some activities on the side if we all are bored, but not have that be the main course. The main course is being present for our people. And I am preaching to myself right now.
We're coaching ourselves, right? That's why I love talking with you, Beth, because I always feel like every time we have conversations, it's like we have this rich insight that you'll say some yummy nuggets, I'll say some yummy nuggets, and together we're coaching each other through it because this is an ongoing process. I mean, I really experienced some deep, deep shadows of you cannot abandon yourself. When you're in that doing energy, it's an abandonment, it's an attachment to something, and it's getting clear on that curiosity. It's like when I had this beautiful experience of daily conversations with Dr. John when I was on safari in the Tanzania area, and he was this erudite of rich life knowledge, and he'd been practicing medicine for more than 55 years. And he told me, what got him as far in his practice was because of his curiosity and his willingness to ask questions, not just within research and the confines of like medical research and in a book or in the, studies, but with his patients, and then sit and listen hard. And then trust the gut, the intuition. That's our sixth sense that we tend to, when we get in that busy, we're hurting our vibe of our body knows. My body was a brick yesterday. There was going to be no movement forward. And I'm much lighter, brighter. I can handle all the meetings I have today in a bigger, better way because I took the time to say, you know what? I'm a soul having a human experience and I'm tired and energetically I'm not in alignment. This is not going to be fair for my clients or the people I'm meeting with tomorrow or yesterday.
And I love being in curiosity. In fact, that's what I'll cheers with. Like here's to
Yeah,
being
cheers.
creative instead again as we're headed into the holidays and we're just in a people we're always with our people being less judgmental and coming with some good questions like you were sharing coming in curiosity can be the most loving gift we give our families these
It
holidays.
really is. And it's letting go of FOMO, which is fear of missing out. I like to say faith of making awesome.
Oh, I
So
love
it's shifting from a fear to a faith, and we're all creators. Yet we don't want to over create. So it's the balancing of the masculine do energy with the feminine be energy. And so think of we don't have sunlight all day long. We have to have the moon and the embrace of the stillness of the night. And it's tuning into and advocating for where is your energetic space? Like when is your downstate that you need your brain to rest and to digest? My highest space is morning, and I start to have my witching hour probably around 2:30ish, right? I want to be done with high cognition by 1:30 at the latest. and do the heavy, hard lifting and labor, and then the softer things in the afternoon. I know that to be true for me. Now, some people get all jazzed up at 6 p.m. or and they're like, that's where my fire comes, and they stay up till midnight. Whereas I'm getting up between 4 and 5 a.m. and I'm like, boom, shakalaka. And so it's acceptance and tolerance of ourselves and our different. So me saying morning is better, I mean, because we hear a lot from various podcasters like have a morning routine, and I love Mel Robbins and I love her podcast and I love, Martha Beck's Gathering Room YouTube channel and I love Elizabeth Gilbert's wisdom and creativity and all of this. And they are themselves. They get to be them and how they show up in the day and be in their way. So I think ultimately it's Beth getting to be her way, and it's okay that it's not exactly as mine. We be to our own drummer and accepting that of the other. It's that silver rule: do allow others to be and do unto them as they might want done unto them or not done unto them, you know?
Well, I appreciate all this conversation because it's really a conversation with myself, right?
Right.
And if people want to connect in with me, uh, a great way to do that is I have a private Facebook group that is free. It is where all this authentic, vulnerable conversations take place. It's Best Life Tribe. You can friend me and I'll invite you to it. But it's just a great way to regularly, and I'm not a huge lover of social these days. I get on it once a day now, where I used to check it all the time. But I do crave connection with people. And so if it's a way for a community to feel belonging and to say, this is what I'm going through, or being curious about different topics. So Best Life Tribe is a good way to connect with me. And I know Facebook isn't always your platform of choice. Where are you best found?
No, so similar to you, I mean, I took a long hiatus as I was going through my own integration healing journey, and so I'm finding myself these days like figuring out where is that platform and space. So I've taken a shattering perfectionism uh, journey on TikTok and attempting. I know it's wild, and connecting with a lot of different audience members that I normally haven't, but I do a quick little either freestyle rap on a thought of the day, like presence, or I do just a little nugget. Like today, I talked about FOMO being faith of making awesome, and that we are creators, and to trust that intuition and beingness. And so that would be TikTok's a great way to check out little fun nuggets, message me, but also I would love to have you check out my newsletter. That's where I give weekly yummy insights or videos, and that's through tinabakehouse.com. And that's eventually going to be tinab.com, which I'm excited about, nerve sighted, because there's a lot of nervousness and a lot of doing and shifting and trusting as I work with my tech person to do this upload. But yeah, check Beth out in her beautiful Facebook group. It's a nice space place, and I always when I have in the past looked at, it's her stuff that pops up, and it's always delicious quotes and insights. And you can check me out on TikTok or my website, tinabakehouse.com. Until then, what's a last thought, Beth, that you have that you would like to share with everyone before we close out?
Here's to the reminder today for me to be a human being, be where my feet are, and not be looking too far ahead into the doing and staying busy. It's setting some of that down. And I think this is the perfect time of the year to have this discussion as we're headed in. So here's to being
I
human.
like that a lot. There's just as much importance in stillness as there is in movement. So it's be you and be true. And feel free to reach out. Till next time.